So Moises Sanchez, you own a roofing business. You're in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
You were doing 12 to 15 million 5 years in a row. Did 30 last year. You're going for 50 this year. 12 to 15, 6 years in a row was without the internet. Now you're down the internet rabbit hole. True guerrilla marketer. And then once we get into this life story, like y'all have never heard anything like this. So can you just like take me back to the beginning? Like, where'd you come from? And then this journey sort of like to get you to where you started your company. Let's start there.
I'm from Mexico. I was born and raised in the mountains of Mexico. I have 2 birthdays. I was born in the mountains, and my mom didn't come down until 8 months later. From the mountains to register me, and she put the wrong month. So I celebrate my birthday in August and September.
Well, there you go. Double presents.
Small came down. Eventually, we had a small house in a small village in my town, and went to school there. And then when I was 12, I was brought here. My mom brought us all here, and we crossed the border illegally. We got caught twice, and the third time we made it. Got here when I was 12. Started middle school, then started high school, and I didn't speak any English. Graduated high school and started when I was, I think, 17 is when I started college. And I wanted to be a lawyer. I always wanted to be a lawyer. That's the thing that I had in the back of my head. And it was 2003, so there was that gold rush of real estate, 2003. And I had a friend that was a realtor, and he's like, hey, you should come and sell real estate for my company. And I asked him, how much money you make last year? He said, like over 200,000. So I go, this is back in the 2003, there's no Google yet, or, it's not that big. So I go and I check the average salary of a lawyer in Minnesota and the average salary of a lawyer in nationwide, and it was in the 60,000, like 65. So I go talk to my counsel. I'm like, hey, how do I drop out? And she's like, let's fill this out. I filled it out, and I dropped out, and I got my real estate license. When I was 18, I had to wait a couple months. And I've been doing the same guerrilla tactics. I mean, I'm a big, I always know that direct mail marketing works. That thing works, and it's so hard to do it that nobody does it. Nobody does it. So when I was 18, I was doing 12, 15 closings every month. So I'm 18 years old. I was raised poor. Here in Minnesota, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. There was my mom, my dad, and 8 kids. All the 8 kids in the same bedroom. Living room and stuff like that. So, that kind of money is not good for a, 18-year-old. I was the older of my cousins, the older of my brothers. So, 40, 50,000, and I went through that every month. But one thing that I did, I'm always, I have learned from a long time ago that I don't know everything, and I'm not the best. But I know that I'm very good at recognizing that, and then I'm good at asking, direction. Where do I find the best? Right. And then I go to the best, and I talk to them and try to get something, usually for a fee. And I also learned that the higher the fee, not 100% of the time, but a lot of times, the higher the fee, the better the stuff that you learn. Right. So there's this seminar. I'm 18 years old, and I'm trying to make myself look old. So I have this, $3,000 suits. I look like Al Pacino, in The Godfather. Put a lot of jewelry on the back of my. Because I'm 18 years old, and I'm helping people buy their first house. Right. So I go to this seminar, and I can't remember the name of this guy, but he's the one that brought the buyer agency. Back then, it was only one agent, the listing agent. The buyer really didn't have representations, and this guy's the one who pioneered that and pushed that. And he had this software. It was like $500, and this guy's having 20, 30 closings every month. He has assistants and everything, and he shows, and this 2003, 2004, and he's showing all these fancy postcards. All the postcards are bright colors, professionally done, and his system is just ugly black and white. And it's a system you can just go there and type it in, and you have a piece of paper, and you cut it in half, and then you send your postcards. But they're so weird and so ugly that they work. They stand out.
Yeah.
So I send that out. And then it has sales letters that I get listings. And, I only went to 6th grade in Mexico. So I translated one of the sales letters into Spanish with my, 6th grader Spanish. And I translated it as much as I could. And then I printed it. And my broker had some really fancy letterhead paper. And I always loved fountain pens. I'll tell you about what I have here in a minute in my building. But I always love fountain pens. I have a thing for fountain pens. I spent thousands and thousands on fountain pens. And so back then I had a fountain pen. And I write the letter and I printed it 1,000 times. Okay? And there's like 12 realtors there. We share a floor. And, hold on, my camera keeps losing focus. And I print the letter, and then I grab the fountain pen, and I start signing every letter by hand.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of walking around and looking at me funny. After 100 letters, my hand hurt, and I have ink on my fingers, and I'm getting the letters dirty, and I keep going, and boom, like 5-6 hours later, I'm done with 1,000 letters. And once I'm done, one of the realtors, they all start laughing. I'm like, oh, I'm done. They all start laughing, and one of the realtors comes over. He's like, man, he's like, you're stupid. Why the hell didn't you sign one and then make 1,000 copies?
Right.
And I'm like, I genuinely didn't think of that. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So I have a little machine that folds the letters 3 at a time. So I buy it at Office Max or those office box stores, and I fold them and I put them in the envelopes, and then I wrote the address with the pen.
Yeah.
Same 1,000.
Ugh.
And they're all just laughing at me. And then I send my letters. It was probably Wednesday or Thursday. And the next week, I got 12 listings from 1,000 letters.
Wow.
The next day, like the next week, once I kept, I got another one. Oh, I got another one. The next week, everybody on the floor was busy signing letters and send them out. So
That's hilarious.
I always known that. So I was doing 12, 15 closes a month, 18 years old, with no radio, no website, no nothing. Guerrilla marketing, I always liked that. So another thing that I did, on Sunday, I go to church. I'm not a Christian guy, but I go with my assistants, and we pay I focus on the Hispanic community. I pay the pastor $300-400 to let me talk at the end. So I come to the floor, and I say, praise the Lord and everything. You guys want to buy a house? There's Lisette over there. She can take your information. We can get you a loan. And I get probably every church meeting. I probably get 4 or 5, but I did it like 3 times a day. So I went to 3 different churches every day. Cold calling. I also did cold calling a lot with my cousins, and these are gangbanger cousins.
Right.
I pay them by the hour, and buying beer, buying pizza, and there's a bonus for whoever gets the most, and I think like $34 for every appointment. And one day, these are gangbangers, okay? We got 35 applications over the phone. We just cold called. 35 applications like in 4 hours, from like 5 to 9, okay? And these people, they give us their first name, their last name, social security number, where they work, how much money they make. So I grabbed and this is before the email, it's not so big anymore. It wasn't that big back then, 2003. I faxed them all to my loan officer. This one afternoon, just like 5 gangster guys, cold calling. You grab the line and you dial the number. I send them all. Then we went out and we partied like every night. Came back the next day at 11. I had 18 approvals, like 5 or 6 that had a dead social security number, nothing we can do with that, and like 12 that needed some work.
Yeah.
I grabbed the ones that didn't work. I grabbed the dead ones, throw them in the garbage. The 18 I give to my assistants. Start making appointments. Let's get this going. So 18 approvals for people to buy a house in one afternoon.
It's amazing.
So there's always doing those type of things. So when I was let's go back to my story. When 18 years should not be making $40,000-50,000 a week, especially you were raised poor.
So by the way, were you always an outperformer growing up? Like when you were in Mexico, were you just like more motivated and like crushing it harder?
Smart kid. When I was a little kid, I was very quiet.
Yeah.
I was a kid that never spoke. I always been physically a small kid. very quiet kid. Not because
Yeah.
I was scared, but because I had nothing to say, and
Right.
and I wanted to learn. So I could be in a room, and people would not notice I'm there, and they're talking freely about my mom or freely about something.
Yeah.
And because they don't know I'm there. So I learned to keep my mouth shut, and
Right.
that happened until once I turned 14. That changed. That changed dramatically. I became a waiter at Denny's at 14 with a fake ID, and the cooks at Denny's destroyed my mind. I learned a lot of things about life, about women, and about there's a play of words in Spanish, and that changed me, and I always wanted to have money. I always wanted to have money. I knew poverty. I knew that in Mexico I go to bed hungry because there was no money. So
Right.
I said, I'll do anything I have to do as long as it's not illegal. But if it's illegal, that's the only option. I'll go ahead and do it. But thank
Right.
God I've never done that. But I always was willing to do whatever it takes so I'm not poor again. So I'm not in extreme poverty. Let's go back to when I was a realtor. Somehow one week it turned out that in 1 week, I'm 18 years old, I closed on 2 houses, one to flip and live and one to flip and sell. Got myself a brand new Mercedes-Benz, a Mustang, and a BMW, all from Monday through Saturday. Monday through Saturday. So I made the money and I spent the money. But then I had a girlfriend and we broke up, a 3-year relationship. And that got me into a lot of trouble. I started drinking a lot, doing a lot of drugs. And my mom and dad literally came from Mexico because at this time they went back. And they literally beat me back to Mexico. They said, you're on the wrong path. And they literally grabbed me and brought me back to my town. I was 20 years old when I went back in 2005. Yeah. And that got me off the drugs. That got me off the drinking. And that's where I met my wife. And I took with me $350,000. The peso was $10 back then, so that was a lot of money. And I was thinking of buying the gold coin, but I didn't. And instead I started a pig farm.
What inspired you to do that?
My
So
dad-
by the way, just to recap, because we got dirt poor, into the States illegally, no English. Somehow, 8 years later, you were bringing back to Mexico $350,000.
Not on me.
That is incredible right there.
Yeah. So I started a pig farm. My dad thought it was a good idea, so I learned not to never take a business ideas from my dad. But I'm still, I don't know. I'm still a little bit lost. I mean, there's a big shift in my life because I was born and raised in Mexico, but I did not know Mexico. When I left, I was 12 years old. When I came back, I'm a man. So there's those 8 years that I did not know. And this is a small village in the mountains of Puebla, right next to Guerrero. Guerrero has, for probably 40 years, has been a no man's land. I'm more in Guerrero. So I went there, small village, and I started building a pig farm, and I ended up with 5,000 pigs. And I have 10 people. 10 people, and I'm 20 years old. I have to a lot of people, I had a lot. So I had a Dodge Ram, I had a Sonoma, I had a dirt bike. I bought a horse from a big drug dealer from Michoacan. It's a trained horse, a beautiful horse. You get on this horse and you look like a general. Anybody that is on this horse, you put music, it dances. So it's a beautiful So I had all this, and my wife, she was the town president's daughter. And everybody wanted her, but I got there and boom, I got her right away,
On the horse.
No, that was before that horse, but after that horse, I when I rode that horse, women will whistle, And I don't know if it was whistling at me or whistling at the horse.
Right.
But I created a lot of, and another thing, that's my persona. I kind of show off. I try not to, but that's the way I am.
Right.
It's mine. I like to enjoy it. I like to show it off. Look at my shiny object. Look what I can do.
Yeah.
That's just the way I am.
Totally.
But that created me a lot of enemies out there. So I had my horse. The best time in my life was when I married my wife. We went and lived in her grandpa's abandoned house. I painted it. I refurbished it. A small little house right next to a creek. And I lived there for 3 months, maybe 4 months. and that's probably the best months of my life. You go to bed, you can hear the creek at night,
Yeah, it's wonderful.
and you wake up in the morning, and you can hear the creek in the morning. Very peaceful, just me and her. And I have 10 people working for me. I'm selling pigs. I'm not making a lot of money, but I'm making about $600, $800 a week. That's a lot of money over there in a small little village.
Yeah.
Give me enough money to live a decent life, have fun, you know. And May 25th, 2005, I get there at 9 in the morning, and like right away, they were waiting for us. They start shooting at us.
Who's
And,
that?
The people, I've never saw them, never met them.
Yeah, just like people who built up hatred towards you. Is it narco or is it like something else?
Oh, yeah, it was narco. Yeah, it was narco. Yeah. I don't know if they were trying to kidnap me or kill me. Maybe somebody put a hit on me.
Yeah.
My pig farm was like maybe 30 minutes from my town on a car. So, I have one guy that slept there, you know, at the pig farm, and the other people didn't arrive until 10. And I kept, telling him to, come over, we're getting shot, come over in my truck. And the guy he went into hiding, so I just pressed on the gas and I left. I left the guy there. And came back, went and got my father-in-law, got my uncles. We went back maybe an hour later, and my guy was there dead. They shot him dead. They shot him twice on the stomach. And, and then we had to bring him to the county. That's a whole different story, man. I mean, Mexico is like, I call the police. I'm like, we got shot at, my guy got killed. And they're like, well, we'll just bring the body and bring the gun, the bullets, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm used to watching CSI, that stuff. It's not like that.
Right. They're not like making chalk outlines or whatever. It's like
no. So
just tie him to the back of the car and drag him in.
We put him in the back of the bed of my truck, and then I grabbed the clean clothes, grabbed the shells or whatever you call it, of the shell with the shotgun, and go to the county 3 hours away. And I spent the whole night there. This guy was very religious. He had been working for me for at least a year, and it's like 10 p.m. and they got a police report and everything, and then the guy is like the prosecutor. I'm gonna say, I don't know what title he had. He's like, well, what is? And my guy's still in the back of the bed in downtown, of the county, Calco de Tapia is called. He's been there since 11 a.m. since I put him there, and we got there around 3 p.m. and my guy's still in downtown, just floating. He's getting big,
Yeah.
And they're like, what does he do? Is he your relative? I'm like, no. I'm like, he worked for me. He's like, okay, then I cannot give you the body. I'm gonna throw him in a normal tomb or tomb, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And the guy was very religious. I'm like, no. I'm like, give him to me. I'll make sure we bury him correctly. And they're like, no. But then. And I started offering him money, because in Mexico everything's with money.
Yeah.
We got to 20,000 pesos, which back then was $2,000, just for him to release me the body. But then his sisters arrived, and they recognized the body, started crying, and then they said, "Just give the body to him." And I was gonna bring the body to his town, to his family, to bury him. And then the guy with the casket arrives, this scary-looking guy with a huge bodyguard, all black, full of gold. I buy the casket, and then it's like midnight, and this white truck arrives, and everybody disappears, okay? Because this county jail is like open 24/7. But when the white truck arrived, everybody disappeared, and it's just me and my father-in-law. And the guy comes up, like, "Are you with the big guy from the small town?" I'm like, "Yeah." So well, where is he? I'm like, "In the back of my truck." So it's like midnight. My guy's still in the back of the truck, okay? He's like, "Help me put him in my truck." So he parks behind me. Me and my father-in-law grab the body, put him in the back of his truck, and then he says, "Do you have clean clothes?" I'm like, "Yeah." I grab the clean clothes. He's like, "Okay, both of you get in the truck with me." So it's like 12:30 p.m. a.m. and we're driving around this our county city. Like 1 in the morning, we arrive at this what do you call where you put the people that cemetery.
Yeah, cemetery, yeah.
And the guy comes out. He's a doctor, right? He comes out. He unlocks the cemetery, opens the gate, and is driving. And me and my father-in-law were like, "What the hell?" And then there's a house right there, and he turns on the light, and he's like, "Help me put the body here." And he opens, and it's just a big room with a lot of lights and a sink, and there's like knives and axes on the wall. And he's like, "Put him on the table." And this guy made us help him do the autopsy.
That's not where I thought that story was going.
Yeah, yeah. This guy made me, so it's like 2 a.m. Me and my father and the doctor were, giving him a shower, we're washing him. And he cut him. He took out the little bullets, that he had.
Yeah.
A lot of mangoes. This guy had a lot of mangoes. He ate a lot of mangoes the night before. And the fat was bright yellow. And then his skull was really thick. The guy was having trouble, opening the skull. He's like, he would have got shot in the head. He's like, he would have not died. So then he put a liquid so he doesn't rot so fast, and we put him back. We put the new clothes on. We came back to the county, and we had not eaten. Me and my family, and we ate like around 3 a.m. After that, we ate a torta, a Mexican burger.
Yeah.
I married the guy, and all my people quit on me when I went back. All my people quit on me, so I had to take care of because at this time I had like 10,000 pigs. And I did not know who it was, why they did it. I don't know if they tried to kidnap me. I don't know if they tried to kill me. But exactly 28 days later, I'm driving back, and I start getting shot again. Boom, 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 boom. But I'm driving. And then I pressed on the gas. I went, and that's when I knew, no, these guys, they're out to get me. So
they were trying to kill you, not him.
I went into hiding, but at this time my wife's pregnant, my first child. I wanted to see my kid. So, I went into hiding over there. I mean, I didn't come out. People, my local market stopped buying pigs from me because they said that my pigs ate my guy. So now I had to drive 2-3 hours and sell my pigs on credit. Okay, and anybody in this town, they're all my family. They're all my uncles and cousins. Nobody talked to me. They saw a dead man walking. I still remember that fucking feeling. I hate it. That's why I hate this fucking town.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in the contrast from when you said it was like the best time of your life. The hut on the creek and like the horse and all that shit, and then it's like the whole world just like turned on you.
It just turned.
And then
what makes it worse is that these are blood family, like cousins, uncles, related to me by blood.
It's wild. I just can't even imagine that.
And I'm 20 years old. Right? I'm fresh.
It's intense,
right? And I left. My dad and my sister went to get me, and I had a green card at this point, but it was an expired. It was an expired in 6 months. So the plan was to, I had warrants. I had warrants because I got into a lot of trouble, and then I just left.
In the U.S. or in Mexico?
In the U.S.
So in the U.S. you got in a bunch of trouble, and then your parents got you and left. So unbeknownst to you, there's warrants in the U.S. for you, or did you know it?
I had warrants. People were looking for me.
Yeah.
Cops and detectives were knocking on, my house, my ex-house, people that, I knew I had warrants. I knew that. Yeah. And so, my plan is to come back to the U.S., sell real estate like crazy for 6 months, make $100,000 and go back to Mexico. That was my plan. So my dad...
A different part of Mexico or like the same village?
No, different part.
Yeah. Start over.
I have not been back to that place. I can never go back.
Yeah.
I can never go back.
Yeah, I hear you.
So we crossed the border legally and rent a car, and I drove all the way here. We got pulled over once. My dad was very scared, but I don't know. I wasn't scared. And it was, he was like, well, I'm going to Minnesota. He was just checking the plates, Sorrento. I got here in Minnesota. It was a Monday. We left like the 3rd of January. The first Monday of 2007, I was in Minnesota, in Philly. And I called my best friend. I called him, and it was weird. He didn't go see me the first day because I got here in the morning. Second day, he didn't go see me. But Wednesday, he went to see me, and we went and had a burger at Burger King. Came back around 10:30 a.m., 11 a.m. Cops come in, break the door, and they throw me and my brothers on the floor, and they're yelling at me, cursing them. But they ignore my friend. They just don't talk to him. And I'm trying to make eye contact, and the guy, he's just staring at the TV. Well, these guys, when they arrested me, the whole police department of Philly was out there. It looked like they got like El Chapo's business partner or something. You know, I've been arrested a bunch of times, and there's like 10, 12 police cars that I could see. But the weird part was when they handed me to another guy, you know, with civilian clothes. I'm like, this is different.
Yeah.
He puts me in a Ford Escape, and they change, you know, they have me like this, and he puts me his, and you know, the police officer grabs his, and he puts me in the back of the Ford Escape, and then he puts the handcuffs, and then he puts handcuffs on my stomach, and then he puts handcuffs from my hands to my stomach, and then he puts handcuffs on my feet, and then from my feet to my stomach. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is not normal. So I asked the guy, I'm like, why the hell am I riding with you? It's like, oh, you have to be somebody big, otherwise I will not be here. I'm like, but I'm nobody. I mean, I just have violent crimes, beating people up, you know, with bats. That's pretty much all that we did. He's like, and I'm like, how do I know that you're a cop? And he starts giving me all these credentials, and then he has FBI. He's like, I got more. I'm like, no, I'm good with FBI. I'm good with FBI. Yeah. So I got here Monday. I was in downtown Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. I did 8 months. I had a bunch of charges. I was looking at 30 years, and I pled guilty to the only crime I did not do. And I came out. I didn't tell my wife I was locked up because she's still in Mexico until 4 months later. She kind of heard a rumor that was locked up, and I said, well, I've been calling you from jail.
Unbelievable.
So I come out, and when you're in jail, man, everybody should be thrown in jail for 3 months, man. Everybody should. You learn so much, man. You learn so much.
So can we go into that? What are like your top 5 lessons from jail?
Oh, association. You have to join a clique right away. You have to. Number one.
Safety.
Safety. I saw guys get themselves prostituted for coffee.
Wow.
You know, so and then reading The Richest Man of Babylon and Think and Grow Rich. I read The Richest Man of Babylon at least 100 times there. At least. That book changed my life. I got it when I was in 2003. A friend gave it to me, and I read one page and I put it down. But then in jail, I saw it again and I read it, and I read that book. And that book.
Do you like still have it memorized? You read it so many times.
I used to be able to memorize, probably talk about maybe 10 pages without looking at it. But I mean, I still read it a couple times a year. And Think and Grow Rich. Oh my God, a lot of oh God, you know, sex novels. Oh Lord. Black woman. This black woman writer that she was so good at writing this book, man. You can smell it, you can hear everything. You know, and those stories, they're all trust black people. There's not so many novels, sex novels written by black women is full of rich black people.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all you hear, and they have like the best sex.
Right.
My job there, so when you join a clique, number one, you know, there's safety numbers, but you have to do something. The leader will always be the biggest guy who can beat anybody. That's the leader. He doesn't do nothing. But when you're in, you know, so number one, you appreciate everything. You appreciate life, number one, because, you know, you lose your freedom. No, they choose when to eat. They choose when you take a shower. You get punished for somebody's fuck ups. Food, you appreciate food. When I came back, I had so much stress that I had gastritis. You know, acid reflux, really bad.
Yeah.
It went away when I was in jail. There's no spicy. There's no pepper. There's no salt. Right. You appreciate a cup of coffee. I mean, it's very, very valuable. You have to really be smart to protect yourself because, you know, 95% of the people that are locked up deserve to be locked up. They're just bad, stupid people, and they're all stupid. A lot of the people that are in jail or prison is because they're stupid, literally in the head. They're slow. Yeah. So my job was to get food. That was my job. So this is county jail. It's not prison. It's county jail. So people get thrown in. You know, they go by blocks. And everybody is sad and depressed, you know, because they just got arrested, you know, for DWI, for whatever crime. So they're all depressed, and we're all hungry. The guys that were in it for 3-4 months were always hungry, okay? So I go and I say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You know, what you here for?" And everybody then do nothing. Everybody's innocent in there. Nobody. And I'm like, "Don't worry, man. It's gonna be okay. You know, blah blah." And then I go, "Are you gonna eat that?" Grab it. Well, I grab it and I bring it to my table to share. And then I get up and I'm always looking for the new guys.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the new guys or somebody whose charges got more charges. And I'm looking for the sad people. So I'm very good at recognizing people who are worried, stressed, or sad. And I go and I try. You know, I don't care about them. I did it because they did it.
Right.
But I want their food. You know, so I go and I talk to them. And I mean, I could get the best deal that I did in jail, man. I traded one apple for a hot meal.
Wow.
A hot meal that's pretty big, okay?
Yeah.
And then one thing that I did, you know, I'm with the Mexican table, the Hispanic table. Our leader was a big idiot from Campton, huge guy. He killed 2 guys. They wanted to give him natural life. He wanted 25 years. And I'm always reading. And one day he comes over. He's like, "Why the hell are you always reading?" I'm like, "Well, there's nothing to do." He's like, "Well, why don't you come and talk with us?" I'm like, "Dude, we talked about the same thing like how many times already? What's there to talk about?" And then he's like, "What does that say?" And I told him what I read on the book. And he's like, "And all that is there?" He didn't know how to read. This guy didn't know how to read.
Oh,
like,
man.
yeah. So it made it a habit that I'll read, and in the afternoon he'll sit down with me. And on the book, I'll add or take away to make it more exciting.
Yeah.
So I read to this guy every day. Once people saw that, nobody could touch me because this guy was huge. I'm like my clique's favorite. So that kept me away from trouble. I'm a small guy, never been beaten in my life because I associate with the best. I associate with the best, and I don't beg them or anything like that. I just become their friend. So I get out of jail, and I go right away. Start doing real estate. I still have my license. And I swear to God, man, I had like, oh God, there was a curse or something that happened to me, okay? So I get out of jail, and I go and start, I call the Mexican radio, hey, I need some credit, I need some advertisement, I borrow money, I buy myself a little car, I go to the thrift store, got myself some suits, and I go get a picture taken. I still have the picture, that shirt is, it's too big on the cover. And I take a picture, I order my business card, and I start selling real estate again, okay? I got out somewhere in August, and I start doing my real estate again. The end of October, I have 5 closings. 5 closings. They're about $5,000-6,000 each. In my mind, I'm netting $35,000 in commissions. And I owe about $10,000 already to debts and loans. And with the other $15,000, I'm gonna send money to my wife and my kids, and I'm gonna get myself a nice suit. I'm gonna get myself a decent car. And Interbank, back in the days, there was this bank called Interbank. That was the name of it. FSB was the only bank who gave loans to illegals. As long as the Social Security number is not dead, they knew you're illegal. They gave you a loan. Okay, and then they package it and they sell it with all the other loans on the market, right? And so I have 5 closings. I work really hard, and they all close on Friday, the last Friday of the month. And fucking the Monday before, Interbank goes belly up.
Oh, I mean, so like, was that feeling darker than when you were in hiding? You know what I mean? Like,
no, nothing compares to being afraid for your life.
Yeah. Nothing
compares. Being shot at is surreal.
Yeah.
If time moves fast and slow at the same time, it's kind of hard to explain it.
Yeah.
But knowing that somebody's trying to kill you.
Who hunts humans for a living, right?
Yeah. No. I eventually found out who they were. I'll tell you the story with that one. I'm going there eventually. But being attacked and being scared for your life is probably one of the worst feelings that a human can feel.
Yeah.
Is that in the unknown, not knowing who and not knowing why.
How does that compare to the first day in jail before you were in a clique? Like, did you get briefed by anybody about what jail's like, or did you just get there and you're like, I have to join a clique? How'd you know?
I have been arrested at least 30 times before. I've done a lot of time in jail.
Yeah,
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
and there's ease. You're not hiding anymore. You know,
Right.
you're not stressed. You don't have to worry about food. You're locked up. You have nothing to do. You know,
Yeah, sweet.
You don't get a click, you will be in trouble. So my thing goes belly up. I'm broke. I have a wife and kids in Mexico to feed. I'm like, what the hell, man? What's up with all this bad luck? So I go and my brother and my dad, they work at a tortilla factory. Tortilla factory, it was Northwest, but Mission Food had just bought it. It's a clusterfuck. Mission Foods is the biggest flour company on planet Earth. They're owned by Maseca, by Gruma Corporation. And Gruma Corporation is owned by this Mexican guy, billionaire, Don Rigoberto Gonzalez. He invented Maseca. He invented, the dried flour in Tecno Maíz, the machines that make the tortillas. So I go and apply. I apply to be a purchaser. I get hired, $12 an hour. It's a clusterfuck. They say you can work any hours, as many hours as you want. I clock in at 6 a.m. and I clock out at 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week. My check was $2,400. I don't know if it's per week or I think it was 2 weeks. But after taxes, I netted like $1,500 for slaving myself. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm working there. I worked there, and I brought my wife and my kids here. I had to save money to bring them over here because I know I cannot go back.
Yeah.
And I'm on probation at this time. I cannot leave the country. So one day, the owner went to the factory, the president of Gruma, because they couldn't turn it around. And I wanted to shake this man's hand. That was my goal. The first billionaire in my life. That I met a couple billionaires now, but I'm probably a future billionaire right now that I'm talking to. but I wanted to shake this man's hand, right? He arrives and they're walking around. I'm the purchaser. I bought everything for this factory except the raw materials. But $100,000 printer to 10-cent pen. That's what I did. And he's walking around. It's like an hour and a half. He's walking around the factory, and I know that he's getting ready to leave. So I'm like, fuck this shit. And I go and I'm like, Don Rigoberto, and I extend my hand. And this guy is very tall, very skinny, green eyes, extremely dark skin, darker than me. He's got a suit on. He was old, and you could tell he dyed his hair. It was like pitch black hair. Yeah. And I asked him in Spanish, deme un consejo para ser rico. So give me advice on how to be rich, how to be wealthy in life. And this man looks down at me, looks me in the eyes, and he's shaking my hands and press hard. And he says, "Chingale todos los días," which means hustle every day.
Yeah.
And let me show you what I have for my name tag. This is what I have in my office. Wait a minute, hold on, let me remove that. There.
I love that.
Every day I'm hustling.
Yeah.
This is what he told me. I've been, he's like, chingale todos los días, hustle every day. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. English is my second language. I worked really hard in this place. They did turn around. But one day my manager said, "Moises, your work ethic is second to none." And I thought he insulted me. And in the Mexican world, pride is everything.
Yeah.
So I quit. I didn't show up to work the next day.
Right. That's unbelievable.
So I did, by this time, my wife and my wife and my son are here in the U.S. We're living in a basement, and we bought this house, me, my brother, and my dad, and it's like I rented the basement. That's where me, my wife, and my son lived, and I quit because he insulted me, and I went back to Denny's, and I got myself the dream job of a server in 15 minutes. I got Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then I got a different Denny's Friday 5 to 10, and then Saturday and Sunday 8 to 2. And I pulled this off in 15 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm working as a waiter. I'm serving tables, and I'm making pretty good money. I'm making like $1,500 a week. I think that's a lot. And then they offered me a job as a shift manager, and stupid me said yes.
Right.
Within a month, and I go from making $1,500 to making $300-400 a week.
Right.
And I was so good at that, and they kept putting like extra money to test me if I steal it. I did not know they were testing me, but it's not my money. I'm like, hey, there's $150 more. Hey, there's $200 more. I'm just gonna put it there. Now I know that they were testing me, right?
Right.
So I did such a good job as a shift manager that they gave me general manager of a Denny's in probably the worst place in the whole nation. That is the George Floyd riots. These Denny's went up in flames.
Right.
So the Denny's on Lake Street. I ended up there in 2008. 2008, man. Oh God, that is by far the worst job I ever had in my life. It's the Denny's in the ghetto.
Yeah.
My Mexican cook was selling Coke from the kitchen line. My black servers were selling weed on the floor. I had this white lady server that her husband will come around 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m. and she'll go against the wall and he'll like check her pockets and her bra. The first time I thought she was getting robbed, but they said, "Oh, it's my husband." It's okay. So I'm like, "Okay, going forward, can you guys go like on that corner so that people cannot see that your husband is robbing you?" and it was an old people home, like by the States. There was a lot of old, nasty-looking, poor people, and I swear to God, one of them died every week. It was horrible, man. I hated that job so bad. I hated that job, and I was getting $620 a week minus taxes. $560 is what I took home. 12-hour shifts. Monday was my day off, but the Super Bowl, I have to work Monday. Some famous group came to do, they bring famous people and they make a menu. I have to work Monday.
Right.
Thanksgiving, I had to work. Christmas, I had to work. New Year's, I had to work. I didn't take a day off for 6 months.
Yeah.
I have felonies. I'm on probation. Corporate world is not going to hire me, right? Because they check your background check and blah blah blah. You're garbage. So I went to Monster.com, man, and I knew I need more money. I need more money, and I knew that sales was the only way to do it. So I go home, and I apply 100 times because that's the max that Monster.com lets you.
Yeah.
I'll submit my resume 100 times every night. Every night. There's a song that I listen to when I have a little daughter by this time. It's in 2009. I have a little daughter. And I listen to a T.I. Hell of a Life. I listen to that song every night, man. That's the first time I saw a Rolls Royce, a Phantom. And I have that car right now. I have a Rolls Royce Phantom. I did not know what a Rolls Royce was until I saw that music video. So
I mean, incredible.
So I got my daughter. I put her on my lap, and I'm applying, and we're listening to the music. I get calls. It's for selling credit card machines, selling signs for businesses, selling mattresses, and I gotta hire and all of them, but then they do a background check, and boom, now we cannot take you.
Right.
This one company, this roofing company that I applied for in 2000. I want to say 2008. It had to be 2008 or 2009. It was probably January 2009. And I apply, and they call me back. And they're like, "Hey, this is Matt. You apply for a sales job selling roofs." I'm like, "Yeah." It's like we're gonna do a presentation, an interview when you want to come in. And these guys back then were doing what a lot of contractors do, which is there's not all of them, but there's a lot of contractors that rip off sales guys. It's a good gig. You hire them all in the spring, and you fire them all in the fall, and you don't pay them. You keep the commissions.
Right.
And I was part of that gig, as a victim.
Right.
So I go to the presentation. It was at a Hilton conference, very nice building, very smart guy doing the presentation, and there was like 100 people. This is the recession. You will remember the recession, okay?
I remember. I was there. Yeah. I worked at Lehman Brothers, by the way.
You worked at Lehman Brothers?
Yeah. I was I was a credit default swap trader.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Were you in the downtown building in New York?
Yeah. Yeah. Manhattan. I lived in Manhattan for fucking 12 years.
When your boss when everything went down the fucking.
I was in there. I was in the fucking building. I was there. I was there for all of it.
Know, man. People do not know how bad it was.
Bro, I was in the middle of it all. Like,
Yeah.
incredible.
And that's in the middle of it. But then
Yeah.
go forward a year, it was still there. It kept
Yeah.
getting worse and worse. There was no jobs.
Right,
The
right,
pink
right.
slip. Everybody talked about the pink slip. Nobody knew what a pink slip was. But then it became very common. Everybody knew what a pink slip is. You're fired.
Yeah.
So I go to this place. They do a presentation, and there's 100 of us, and there's a lot of like realtors, a lot of professional people, and then they do it was like a 4-hour presentation. After each hour, they kept doing breaks, and there's less people and less people and less people, and towards the end, there's only like 30 of us, and they do a mini interview. They interview me, and they're like, okay, we'll call you next week if you make it. And they said they're gonna call 10. So 2 weeks later, they called me, and I made it. And I start, it's still in the winter, so they say the official start date is the first week of April. And one thing of that interview that I went the first time, the presentation, is that they said that I will make an average of $1,500 per sale, right? Mm-hmm. I said, F the 1,500, let's just say that it's 1,000. That means that if I sell 100, I'll make $100,000. And to me, that was a big number. I mean, that would have been a life-changing number.
Yeah.
Because, I made a lot of money when I was younger. I spent it all, right? I went to Mexico. I lost it all. All that investment, I lost it all, okay? I'm over here in the States and, jail. And I'm just going from bad luck, man. I'm broke. I'm poor, okay? So I start, me and my wife, I am what I am because of my wife. I tell everybody, and I'll tell you about Versace. I'm going to tell you about Versace. You're going to be amazed by Versace. But I tell everybody, you want to be wealthy in life, you got to start, the first thing you have to get is yourself a good wife. If you're gay,
I have one, and ever since I got it, I've been getting much wealthier. Before then, I was just partying, chasing it. Like I was stuck. I don't know if they have anything to do with each other, but I am not stuck now, and I have a great woman.
Everything to do with that, okay? I know surgeons that make over $1 million that are broke because they have a spendthrift wife.
Right.
I have surgeons that you go to their office and it's like a magazine, and then you go to their house and it looks like a pigsty.
Yeah.
So you need a good wife.
Yeah.
So me and my wife were calling the Hispanic community, and the first week of April is the start date. I got 15 minutes of training. That's it on the field. And I have all these people that I call in. I set up appointments. So the first month doing this, selling roofs, door to door, we go through insurance claims. We see if there's a hail damage. If there's hail damage, the insurance pays for it, okay? If there's enough. So my first month, I had 80 adjustments. 50 got denied. 36 of those denials got denied in a row by the same guy, by the same adjuster. But I ended up with 30 approvals.
Yeah.
All the customers, I got them through knocking on doors, okay? Mm-hmm. I sold and sold and sold and sold for that company every day. 9 a.m., I am on the street knocking on my first door, Monday to Friday. Saturday, I did 11 to 5 because people got mad if I knocked on the door at 9, and after 5, people don't want to be bothered.
Yep.
And Sunday, I didn't door knock. I tried one time. They all told me to go F myself.
Yeah.
So I took Sundays off. Okay? The end of the season, I sold 120 jobs for this company. 120 jobs. Okay? I should have gotten at least $300,000 minimum. Yeah. All self-generated. I go to the end of the season party, and I thought it said 11, but apparently it was 10 a.m., so I arrived late. And I hear the owner of the company say, we had an amazing year. We did 147 roofs this year. So I say to one of the sales guys, I'm like, we did 147 last month? I'm like, that's a lot. He's like, no, 147 the whole year. And I look at him, I'm like, that can't be possible. I'm like, I did 120. How the fuck, the whole company did 147 total. And the guy goes, it's all you, man. It's all you. Do you know how many times the owners let me know how important and valuable I was to them? 0. You know how much money they pay me in commissions? $35,000 total.
Ugh.
That's how much they pay me. Okay? But I learned the business. Next year, I open my own shop.
There you go.
I opened my own shop. Just me and myself. I was a sales guy, was everything. I didn't take it that big because I was making pretty good money by myself. 2015 is when I decided to grow, and I got myself a lot of sales guys.
Yeah.
And then, right away it was 10 million, 2015. And so 2022, go back 5 years. So 2017, I've been doing 12, 15 million every year without the internet.
Right.
Without the internet, okay? Telemarketing, direct mail marketing, and canvassing. That's it. Last year was the first year that I went after the internet. And the reason why, before I had sales guys, I sold a lot. I'm always looking for ways how to sell. I had my own Segway. The real Segway, I had my own Segway. And I went and I hired a lot of guys. One thing that I'm really proud of, that I pat myself on the back and I'm proud of, which I cannot do anymore. So I understand now that what got me here is not what's going to get me there.
Totally.
So I have to change. So I'm really good, or I've been really good at grabbing Mr. Nobodies, Mr. Losers, and building them into, big shots. Young kids making $200,000-$300,000. Kids that are making the most in their social circle. They become the leader of the social circle because they're making money. I've done that a lot. I don't judge a book by its cover. But the problem is that they're not the professional sales guy.
Right.
They're not. They're never going to be the professional. They have hustle. They have drive. But they're not going to be the professional sales guy with the computer skills, the people skills that I need now to have a smoother operation. Because hustle can get you business, but if you don't have a professional salesperson, you're not going to have a smooth operation. The bigger the company is, the smoother it has to be so it can run. Otherwise, it's very hard.
Yep.
I got a bunch of sales guys. Big hailstorm. We started storm chasing. I opened shop in St. Louis, Missouri. I had an office there. I opened shop in Chicago, but it was just for storm chasing. So it hails, we all go to that area.
Yep.
And then it hails in Chicago. We leave that area. I leave a couple guys there to clean up, and then I go to Chicago.
Where's everybody live? I mean, is renting places or like trailers or like what's the deal?
When I travel with like 30 sales guys, couple canvassers, and probably 50 roofers, probably like 80 of us, and I just rent motels.
Yeah.
We live in motels and we get kicked out every night because the guys are drinking and partying. So and also when you're storm chasing, you're always working, and you're like you're like the father of everybody. Like you're responsible for everybody.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that because it's a bad business model. So came back over here. We had a huge storm 2017, and that's that storm that changed everything. We sold like crazy. I went and got myself. I bought 25 Segways, the real Segways.
Yeah.
From a guy in Florida that he went out of business. They have those Segways that you rent.
Yeah.
So I got 25 Segways, and I gave Segways to all my sales guys, and they're all in the Segways driving around. But again, these guys are not professional. I'm pretty sure some of them pawned them. Some of them got stolen. and Segways are great, but you have to. The thing that kills you is the battery.
Yeah.
The battery dies. You have to keep it charged. I mean, the battery is more expensive than the actual machine. So I don't even think they're around anymore. So I got Segways. I also had let me show you what I do. This is what my machines do.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's with the pen.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Okay. With the real stamp, permit, right?
Yeah.
And if it has a permit, I don't have to put my return address. So it's very important for me to not do nothing. Doing nothing is probably the best thing that I can do. I don't get that much. So when I get
hold on. Say that again. What's important for you? Are you talking about like
physically do nothing?
Yeah, you want to be the one who's not actually executing anything. Is that what you're saying?
No. I want to physically do nothing. Get to the point of boredom.
Right. At some point. Activity. Yeah.
That's
That's like a goal of yours.
It's not a goal, it's a necessity that I don't get.
Yeah.
So I'm always shooting for that. I'm always shooting to get to the point where I'm bored.
Right.
And eventually, I am almost at that point of doing nothing where I delegate almost everything.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. But it's always a little bit hard because you're going to get pulled in every now and then, right? But on a daily basis, I strive, or on a weekly basis, I strive to get to a point for an hour or two or an evening to do absolutely nothing, like nothing, like get bored. And every time I do that, and I have that time, it's either TV, Netflix, or YouTube. Okay, so people know that
You're saying, could I just ask one specifying question? Does Netflix get you there, or is Netflix what you're doing when you are there? You know what I mean?
Netflix is what I'm doing when I get there.
Okay, yeah, gotcha,
Yeah.
sweet.
And that's just to waste time.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing good on Netflix, I end up on my computer on YouTube. So there's companies that know about me selling and me running this roofing company and doing things different, and they're trying to interview me or talk to me, and I keep saying no. You're the first guy that I talk to, okay, ever.
I appreciate it.
And there's
This is gonna go viral.
There's this guy called Dimitri. He's right here in Minnesota, and he sold his roofing company and he started Roofing Insights, and he is the guy now. He did this like 5 years ago, and his roofing channel is big, and he is kind of like everybody follows him now. Okay, so I'm sitting right there, and I don't like Dimitri because he preaches everything that I'm against for. He goes family time, turn off your phone at 7. He talks, stay small.
Yeah.
And me is like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Go as big as you can. And there's no balance of family time. Don't try it. Your life is your work. That's the way I think. Let me tell you how I feel about my job, okay? Have you seen the movie The Chocolate Factory with Wonka?
Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, it's great.
Have you seen that fat kid?
Yeah.
Well, I'm that fat kid every day.
Yeah, you're the fat kid in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
I'm that fucking kid. Every time I wake up, man, I'm that fat kid. I love what I do. I genuinely love what I do, okay?
That is great.
I'm not saying that it's easy, it's not. But I fucking love it. I'm not saying that I'm tired, I do. But I still fucking love it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm excited. It excites me, okay? So, I'm watching Dimitri, and he's interviewing Lee Height. Lee Height's a good friend of mine. He's always trying to get me to go talk in front of his masterminds, and he's got a university and everything. But the reason why I say no is the roofing world in this country, especially Minnesota, is a white man's business.
Right.
Mexicans, they're supposed to be on the roofs, replacing the roof.
Totally.
They're not supposed to be
Trabajando.
they're not supposed to be having a big
Laburando.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of hate, a lot of envy, a lot of, that I don't want to expose myself, right?
Yeah.
So Dimitri's interviewing him, and Lee Height, Dimitri asked him, telemarketing leads, which one do you recommend? And he says Jose Flores. And I know Jose Flores, a good friend of mine. I buy all my telemarketing leads from him. So I felt good. I'm like, okay, so Lee Height says Jose's good. Okay, Jose's good. I feel good. And they're checking out his office. He's got a $65 million roofing company. He does commercial. And there's this machine, man, running. And Dimitri says, what's this? And Lee Height says, oh, that machine's on all the time. It's like, that goes to all the big bosses, the big projects, we send those letters. It's like the machine writes with the pen. And right there, this wasn't in 2017, 2018. Okay, right there, light bulb went on. And I watched that clip like 100 times, trying to see the name or the brand.
It's just like zooming in on the screen.
And I couldn't.
Get your phone.
I spent 3-4 hours on Google and YouTube, machine that writes with pen, machine that writes with pen, machine that writes with pen. And finally, I end up at this guy on YouTube, this black realtor, showing off his machine.
Yeah.
And I reckon, I'm like, that's the one. And it said Max Rider.
Max Rider.
Max Rider. I go on Google Max Rider, get the number. I call right away. I think it was the next day. And I actually ended up talking with the owner of the company that I did not know was the owner back then, but that's the guy that I talked to. And I ordered myself one machine. And I put it together, 2018, I have a machine. One girl ran the machine, sending letters. Real stamp, 55-cent stamp, everything not by hand. 2019, I get a second machine, so I have two machines. And then during COVID, when we had the mandate that we couldn't, we couldn't hang out and we couldn't door knock. We cannot door knock. I said, I have this conference. I'm like, F it out. I need to do something with this room. So I decided to go all in and buy a bunch of machines and get everything that I needed to do it big. Okay? Yeah. And I did not know how to do it. Like, I did not know how to do it. I did not know how to become a bulk mailer. I did not know how to get my permit. I did not know where to buy the machines, the other machines. I know how to buy the writing machines, but I didn't know where to buy the printer for the bulk mail, the tabber, the address affixer, the big printers, the folder inserter. So I started doing research. It took me maybe a month to get my permit for pre-sorted mail. Making calls left and right. I ended up with a company that sold me the software to do bulk mail. The same company sold me the tabber, sold me the address affixer, sold me the folder inserter, and a different company sold me the big ass printer that I use. And it's during COVID, okay? I order everything, it's supposed to be 3 months. 4 months go by, there's no machines. They have not arrived. And I called them and I said, where the hell are my machines? We don't know. A week later they come back and they're like, have you heard of the news that there's a lot of boats that they can't dock because there's a shortage of dock workers?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, all your machines are on those boats, and we have no idea when the hell they're gonna touch ground.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait. So I waited like maybe a month and a half. My machines arrived, but in the meantime, me and my niece, she was 18 back then, we designed everything with cardboards. Have you seen the movie The McDonald's Brothers? How they designed their kitchen with a tennis court with chalk?
Yeah.
Have you seen that part where they're just flying?
Yep.
Well, me and her did the same thing. We spent a whole week. So this is the tabber. This is the address affixer. This is the writing machines, because we only had 2 at that time. This is the printer. This is the folder inserter. And we try to find what the rhythm is. Where do we start? What goes first? And I mean, that whole thing took us 10 hours, 5 days. Because you think this is first, it's not. That's not how it works. It's totally different how it works, how it turned out to be. So we figured that out. The machines came, they installed them. I spent $480,000 on equipment. $480,000.
Yeah.
To get my machines, and I started sending 10,000 letters last year. Last year was the year that I really went at it.
So that was up. What was like a normal? You said you always use direct mail. What was the year before?
The year before was 2 machines. I was probably doing 1,000 a day.
1,000 a month or a day.
A day. Yeah.
And then you gassed it to 10,000.
10,000, and I'm gonna gas it to maybe 15,000 this year because I ordered 5 more machines. And it gets even better. So I'm in masterminds. Let me start with the August rabbit hole. My brother is 36 when he married his wife, and she was 18. Bad idea. In Mexico. I didn't go to the wedding because of COVID. He brought his wife over here, and the wife is a really mean person. There's some people that you meet and they have they're just evil. Okay, yeah. His wife is an evil young girl. Okay, and she's 18, he's 36. And for some reason, my mom decided to. So this is 6 months after when I had COVID. So like 8 months later, I'm fighting with my mom on the phone. It's a Sunday. My brother calls me. He's like, "Hey, is my wife at your house?" I'm like, "No," but I already know where his wife is. So I call my sisters. I call my mom. Let me talk to my brother's wife. They pass the phone to my mom. I'm like, "You're gonna turn around and bring my brother's wife to his house." And she's like, "No." It's like she wants to go back to Mexico. We're gonna put her on a plane and send her back. This girl has been here 3 months, and my mom is helping her to go back to Mexico. I'm like, okay, you're supposed to be on your son's side, okay? You're not gonna do that. You're gonna turn around or you can stop the car and just kick her out. That's fine. And then she goes off on me. I didn't have a good childhood. I had a horrible childhood. My mom beat me every day. Every day I got beat. She's yelling at me. She's cursing at me. And my wife gave me this T-bone on a Sunday morning. And I cut a piece. And I cut it too big. And I'm fighting with my mom. and I put it in my mouth, and I didn't chew it.
Yeah,
I swallowed, and it got stuck right here.
choked.
I choked. So I go like this. I look at my wife, I'm like this, and my mom's on speakerphone yelling at me, and I don't know what to do. So I go on the chair and I push myself on that thing. The chair goes on the ground. I still got it stuck. I get up. I'm looking outside, and I'm thinking, I'm like, am I gonna fucking die with a piece of steak in my mouth? I'm like, goes number one. By the time they get here, I might be dead, and if I'm not dead, I'll probably be brain dead. I'm like, this is not coming out. I need to swallow it. So I grab a bunch of saliva, the most I could, and I swallow a little bit. It hurt a little bit. So then I think, water. So I go to the sink, grab a glass of water, and my wife, she's hitting me in the back, boom, hitting me really hard. And I grab a glass of water, and I go like this, and boom, all the water comes out. So I grab water again, and I'm like, I need to swallow this. So I put water, and I shove it really hard, with my hands, and boom, it finally moves down. And I could breathe a little bit, but it's still stuck right here. So I grab more water, and I drink it. And my mom's still yelling at me. I go and I hang up. And then I was thinking like almost every day. I'm like, I almost died from COVID, and I almost died with a steak. And I haven't thinking about my life. I'm like, I really haven't done much with my life. I do okay, but I haven't done much. And it's so easy to die.
Right.
So last year in 2022, the first week of January, I decided, let me see how far I can take this thing, the roofing company.
Right.
And I said, and I know I need the internet. I have not got internet, not because I didn't want to, because I did not know how to do it. I tried it, but I'm not a CPC expert. I'm not a Facebook expert. I know how to put a little simple campaign and spend $40,000 on it, but I don't know if I'm getting customers. I don't know. I don't have a funnel. I don't even know what a funnel was.
Right.
But I knew I wanted the internet. I knew that. Okay? So last year, I kept getting up at 3 in the morning. 3:30, 3:20, 3:18. For some reason, I always woke up around that time. So there I am on my phone, 3 in the morning, and I'm on my Facebook, and there's this ad that says, roofers, are you sick and tired of getting expensive leads, bad, shitty leads? You want good quality leads, $40. Click right here to see you apply. So I click on it, and then I answer some questions, and the guy's like, congratulations, you qualify,
Right.
Schedule your next Zoom call.
Yeah.
And they have one at 9 a.m. the same day. I'm like, so I do 9. I get up, I meet with Max. This guy's from Sweden. This guy is fucking great. This guy got me 1,200 roof appointments last year. 1,200. This guy has never been to the U.S., yet he only focuses on helping roofers in the U.S. get customers through Facebook.
Yeah.
So I have this guy.
What a niche, right? Like, God bless him.
It's extremely small niche. I think he calls it SMMA or something like that. Now he's teaching a course, okay? And that guy's good. That guy's very good. So I got that one. And I'm doing my mailings. I'm doing Facebook. I'm doing telemarketing. I'm doing canvassers. And so I'm doing mailing, telemarketing, canvassers, and Facebook, okay? And then I'm sitting right there last year in August, and I love Jack Daniels. And then I'm in my jacuzzi smoking my cigar. And I'm like, I'm not doing that good. I'm going to do maybe the same as last year. I'm like, God dang it, man. I'm like, how the fuck do I get more customers from the internet?
Yeah.
So I'm drunk, and I put on my phone how to get more leads online. And I clicked on all the paid ads and the organic, and I set up Zoom calls with 25 companies for Monday and Tuesday. So the next Sunday I wake up and my phone is just with confirmation appointments, and I look at my account like, what the fuck? I'm like,
what did I do?
What did I do? Before this, I've probably been on 2 Zoom calls in my life.
Yeah.
So I meet on Monday, and I'm talking to a bunch of companies, and I want to hire them all, and I like them all. And I ended up hiring 15. I think 7 turned out to be complete shit, but 7 turned out to be pretty good, okay?
Yeah.
That led me to Zoom calls almost every day, because once you say yes to somebody, then you have to do an onboarding call or a demo call or whatever.
Yeah.
So I ended up with, have you heard of Blue Sender?
No.
Wu Sender is nice. Wu Sender is really, really nice. Go high level. You heard
Yeah, I
of Go
don't
High
know. I
Level?
mean, I just like don't, I'm not in this world.
Well, the data that you give me is going to end up on Go High Level or Wu Sender.
Yeah, gotcha.
Their CRMs that have they have cell phone and email. They're automatic contacting people.
Yeah.
So I ended up with Wu Sender. I signed up with Wu Sender. I ended up with STG. They're teaching me how to do commercial. This guy does his first conference. He invites me. I go, and I meet this guy. He's full of energy, and I'm like, how can I get 10% of energy? He says, you gotta talk to Cole. I talk to Cole. Cole says, give me your information. I'll talk to you Monday. I talk to this guy. He sells me a program to go to the gym. So I've been going to the gym. I lost 20 pounds. But then he says, you need to talk to Nick Alfano. So I talk to Nick Alfano. He's like, yeah, I build man, blah, blah. You should come to Cancun for our next meeting. That was Friday. So I buy my ticket, and Tuesday I'm in Cancun. So I went to Cancun. And life-changing experience. These guys, they know how to mind fuck you, okay?
Yeah, no, it's a whole charade, right? Like,
yeah, it's a whole different world, but I never been through there, and I signed up. I'm out of it now because it's not what I thought, okay?
Right.
But then Nick Alfano says you should go to my friend Hunter's RoofCon. So I go to RoofCon, and I meet John Maxwell, and I sign up for his program. And then Hunter recommends me to join this mastermind. He tells them, and then I read his book, and there's all the masterminds that he read. And one of them is the War Room.
Yeah.
So I call the War Room, but they're all closed. But all the founders, they have their own masterminds now.
Yeah.
So I ended up with Founders Board with Ryan Reese.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Yeah, Ryan.
And Driven with Perry Belcher and Kasim.
Do you know Perry?
Yeah.
He's a fucking great guy.
Perry
loves our shit.
Perry last week or 2 weeks ago he said to everybody, you guys have to talk to Moises. He's a real ninja.
No, I mean exactly. You're a G. He'd love you.
Yeah.
I mean, so you and Perry are cut from a little bit of the same cloth.
I'm in those masterminds, man. And over there in the SDG Dallas thing, I met Dream Design Lab. So I'm in this route still. And part of it is me talking to you right now. I'm still in this rabbit hole that keeps taking me places and places and places. And one of them was Wu Sender. I talked to Wu Sender. I set up my account. I'm going to tell you something. I set up Wu Sender. Wu Sender is an AI that leads come in and it starts talking and texting them, okay?
It's amazing.
I went back the past 2 years and I went and spent $25,000 in laptops, MacBooks. I hired all the people that I could get my hands on. And we went back to all the appointments for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And the appointments that they're not turning to customers, we put them into Wu Sender. Mm-hmm. And we did that for like 5 days. I got 165 new appointments that equaled around $2 million in the first week. From Wu Sender.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, from Wu Sender, okay?
Incredible.
And that's where you come in, okay? Retention.com. I mean, data is
Wu
key.
Sender. I mean, I gotta look into this. Just WOO?
Wu Sender. And then Go High Level. I mean, Go High Level is the big daddy. Wu Sender is a way smaller company. It's a very smart. Whoever gets ChatGPT into Wu Sender or Go High Level, it will be game over.
Yeah.
It will be game over.
Yeah.
Because Wu Sender is a little bit more smart. It has more AI, but it's still AI that you have to input. It's not a real AI. It has keywords. But it is capable of scheduling appointments on its own without a human.
It's amazing.
Okay? So that's Wu Sender. I'm happy with Wu Sender. I got Facebook, Dream Design Labs. They're fucking good. I got 2 guys doing my Facebook now. So I'm in these masterminds. I'm learning a lot. I go to Las Vegas for the first quarterly meetup. And that's where I met the guy that he's a customer of yours. He's the one that introduced us.
Yeah, RT.
Yeah.
Vortex watches or
and I feel so. These masterminds are very expensive, so that means only like really good people can
Right.
afford and can go.
Totally.
And when I got up there and I talked about my marketing system, my direct mail marketing, like a quarter of on the founders board, probably like 200 people there, like a quarter of the people got up and went straight to me and asked
Right.
me questions. And I felt really, really good. They just want to know, like, how the hell are you doing that, right? And I told everybody and everything as much as I could. Then I go to Driven. Driven is just marketers. There's not. I mean, they're all agency owners. Okay, and I'm a fucking roofer in that one. So I tell them what I do, and they all get up and they go,
Yeah.
and then they're like, but what do you do? And I go, you're not gonna believe me. I'm like, I'm a roofer. And they're like, there's no way you're a roofer. There's no way you're a roofer. So I'm sitting there with my Remarkable taking notes. Perry's talking. And then he says something that, I said, can you repeat that again? He said, anything laminated does not get thrown away. And I go, can you repeat that? He said, yeah, anything laminated does not get thrown away. I'm like, what do we do with it? He's like, it just lingers around their house. It just stays. I'm like, all of it? He's like, 42%.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know? He's like, oh, there's a paper about it. I can look for it. So right away, I get out. I call my shop. I'm like, can you guys laminate my sales letter? They're like, yeah. That was I got here last Thursday, so 7 days ago. Yesterday, they brought me a sample.
Yeah.
So my letter is going to be laminated now.
Nice.
The same letter. And if it's true that 40% does not get thrown away, I'm sending 50,000 letters a week.
Yeah.
Okay? That's 20,000 letters that will not get thrown away.
Right.
The first
How much
week,
more expensive is it to laminate it?
9 cents.
9 cents. So how much does it cost to get a piece of mail out? Like 30 or something?
Right now, it costs me 55 cents, everything.
Right. So nine
Paper,
more.
ink.
Yeah. So 9 more is really not. It's 20% more. Like
Yeah, but
it's worth it if it converts.
Well,
You know.
but also my print, I'm gonna save money maybe in the print because it costs me more to print than it costs my print shop. So it might probably equal 6 or 7 more cents once I really look into it, because I'm not gonna be doing the printing anymore. They're gonna print it and laminate it, right?
Yeah.
And if I do, 80,000, I mean, I'm probably gonna end up with 1 million of my letters in people's houses in the Twin Cities metro area.
Yeah.
A sales letter, with my QR code. Lingering around people's
Just
houses.
sitting there. Yeah.
So it helps. What the hell are they gonna do?
Right.
They're gonna
Look
call
for
me.
it. They're gonna remember it. Yeah.
No, they're gonna call me. I mean, it's just gonna be there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna test it. Obviously, I don't know if it's gonna work.
Right.
But one thing that has helped me a lot is to always try new things and try big. And I'm always A/B testing. Oh my God, I'm A/B testing all the time. You have your control, and your goal is to. I don't say beat your control. I say kill your control. Kill it. Kill it. I'm always A/B testing. I'm A/B testing copy. I'm A/B testing the QR code if it goes to a landing page, if it goes to a funnel, if it goes to just a calendar. The one that works the best is the one that goes to a calendar. It just doesn't say nothing. It just goes to a calendar. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. So that's my control right now. I'm trying to get really good copywriters, because the letters that I send out, believe it or not, I wrote them, and I don't think I'm that good. I'm not an idiot, but I'm not that good.
Yeah, but you're a marketer, so you kind of know,
I know how to send the message, but there's one guy. His name is John something, John Lelehan, I think. That guy, he's an expert. Have you been? Those infomercials that you can't stop, and it says now, like you go on your website and you buy something $100, and it's like, but if you click right now, upgrade to this new system. You're like,
I love that kind of shit.
This guy is good at that. He's good at that.
Value stack or whatever, all that stuff. Yeah.
But he doesn't write letters. He writes it in. They do different now. Now he's like, okay, I'll write it. I'll shoot it. But we're gonna share the profit, right?
Right.
And they do online things, webinars and stuff like that. But he's very good. If I can get somebody like him to write my letter to a point that they cannot put it down and not call or not go to my website.
Totally.
Just play with their mind.
Yeah.
And I know that such a copy is out there, and I'm gonna keep looking until I find it.
Yeah.
Because copy. Go ahead.
No, I'm just like I think we share this. Like, I'm the same way. Like, I always try to reserve like 20% of my time for just doing big stuff outside of what's working, just trying, just like whatever.
Me, I'm probably the opposite. I'm probably 80% trying new things.
Really?
You have no idea how much I've been doing since December. I got a coach, JC. This guy, I pay him $8,000 a month. He flies over here and talks to my sales guys.
Yeah.
He's a life coach.
What's his name?
Coach JC. He opened when Donald Trump had his first rally. He's the one who pumped the crowd.
Do you recommend him for a sales coach? Like, I wanted to get a sales coach for my squad.
Not sales coach. So I am in the blue collar business.
Yeah.
My roofing is for the broken home people. I'm one of them. Roofing is full of, ex-drug addicts or drug addicts.
Yeah.
Single mothers. It is blue collar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the majority of the people, and I care about my sales guys. You guys have no idea. I'm gonna tell you right now what I have for my sales guys right now. Okay, I got ripped off when I was a sales guy, and the reason why I opened my company is because I wanted to pay my sales guys the most that I could and still make a big, huge profit because I like money. I like a lot of money. If there's not a lot of money, I'm not interested. But I'm willing to work my ass off for it and provide good service, quality service to my customers. And so I pay my guys a lot, and I give my guys a lot of free stuff. I got him all a Segway, a $7,000 Segway, right? I give crazy bonuses every day. I give crazy bonus every week. I have yearly bonuses that are like super crazy, like 30% of their income. Two of my top sales guys, I have something that most companies don't have in residential roofing. I have two sales guys that sold over $4 million each. Okay, both made over $600,000.
God bless them.
Commission, that's their take home. Okay, so I got this life coach, and he was here on Tuesday. That's the second time he comes here, and I saw the difference. It's working. My guys are more pumped up. They're really into it. They're really buying into it. And this guy is really, really, really helping them out. So I'm gonna make a lead magnet to get sales guys, and this is what my guys get. That everybody's gonna be begging, knocking on the doors to get it, and I'm making it so hard for my guys to quit on me or become my competition. Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Okay.
Right.
So my guys, they get paid about 20% more than the average company pays, and I'm okay with that. Okay.
Totally.
They get 6 to 8 appointments put on their calendar, high quality appointments every day. Nobody does that.
Dude, we have the same philosophy. I mean, I tell my people, I told my CRO, I'm like, I want our salespeople to make more than they can make anywhere else. Yes. I want them to have an inbound sales job to where they show up and they're just closing fucking deals all day long.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So let me keep going, okay? So 20% higher pay, 6 to 8 appointments per day, high quality, okay? There's no cap. I'm not going to say you have to stop selling because we cannot handle it. That will never happen. There's 50 years of combined experience between myself in selling, my production team, and my actual roofers, the subs, okay?
Yeah.
In the back office, we have a really good system. We can handle a lot. Okay, that's 3. 4, money. We have cash and we have lines of credit that allows us to run very smoothly. They don't have to worry that we're not going to have the money to build the jobs.
Yeah.
5, they get 52 weeks draw, a weekly draw. They have check security. Nobody gives draws. Nobody gives draws in the winter. My sales guys get the biggest draws in the winter because of the formula system that I have for the commissions. So they're always getting a check. That's key for sales reps, to get a check. This is commission only, okay?
Yeah.
That's 5. 6, life coach. somebody who's talking to you and trying to make you better. Number 7, daily training. Daily training. We're always training. 9 a.m. Everybody's here, and we're training. We're talking about things. We're trying to figure out how to make it better.
And it's just who's leading that? Do you have a sales leader who's leading it internally? Are you getting people externally, or like?
Yes. No. I have a guy that's what he does, train them. Number 8. This one is really good. I did not know about VAs. When I went to this mastermind, my eyes were open to offshore assistants. Okay.
Yeah.
So I already hired 5. They're gonna be for my office, for my internal office. These are fluent. I mean, I have appointment setters from Mexico. They're good, but I didn't know that I could have virtual assistants. People that work. They just need a computer and internet. I have 5 already that I hired in the last 5 days. Very good. They're gonna be for my inside people. And now I'm going to start looking for offshore assistants for my sales guys. So these guys are going to have their own assistant that is going to follow up for them, that is going to schedule things for them, that is going to remind them of things.
Yeah.
And I'm a sales guy. The bragging rights. They're going to be at the bar, and they're going to grab the phone, like, hold on, I have to call my assistant. Hey, Mary, did you talk to Mrs. Johnson? Did you schedule that? Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Book. Because I know how they are. Good sales guys are lazy.
Yeah.
Good sales guys are the most lazy people on planet Earth.
Totally.
Okay,
because they can get away with it. Yeah.
They suck at following up. They suck at getting things done.
But I agree with you. I want to feed the best sales guys the best leads and make the most money for everybody, right? Like,
once I pull this off, watch this. I'm going to have 25, 30 assistants tied up to my sales guys. I'm going to say 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's going to change. And the word, and I have Mike Weiss. Mike Weiss is like the god of LinkedIn, okay?
Yeah.
He's making my LinkedIn sound like I'm like this. Like
a Don, baby. A Don.
Yeah. He's gonna make my lead magnet, and I'm gonna once the local market hears about all the benefits that you get selling for my company, they're gonna be knocking on my door.
Dude.
They're gonna be knocking, and I give my guys total freedom. But I'm very strict. I have very few simple rules. I hire fast, but I fire faster.
Yep.
There's very simple rules. I cannot put up with assholes. I cannot put up with irresponsible people. I cannot put up with liars. If I catch you lying, if you're an ass to anybody in my organization, to my customer, anybody in my office, to me, you're out. You're out. If you're late for a company meeting, for an appointment, you're out. You're 100% out. Unless you're running it because you're closing a deal, because these are outside sales, right?
Yeah.
So, and another thing, we have core values and everything, but one thing that people don't understand, my organization, my team, especially my sales guys, they are first, not the customer. People say customer come first. The customer is not always right. Customer's right a lot of times, but when it comes to something with the customer and the sales guy, we start with the sales guy being first. We start there, and then as we get more information, then we decide, right? I always stand behind my sales team. My sales team, without them, I can't do anything. But at the same time, I'm not on my knees, scared of losing them. I can lose them. I don't care. I can get more right away because I'm always hiring. Always hiring. I have guys who've been selling for me for 8 years. I have 12 guys who have been selling for me for more than 6 years. Seasoned sales guys are like walking ATMs.
Yeah.
They understand the business. They know how the business works. And the most important thing, this is the most important thing, they know what not to do.
Right.
People ask me, Moises, how do I do this? What should I do to grow my business? What should I do to get to that level? And I said, that's the wrong question. The right question is, what should I not do? Because if you know what not to do, that keeps you out of legal trouble. That keeps you from making huge financial mistakes. that keeps you from making the wrong decisions. So ask me what not to do, and I'll give you 5. What to do will come to you, because what worked for me is not gonna work for you. You know, another thing, people test things. Every time I test anything, I go waist deep in it. I don't put my toe in it and say, oh, it doesn't work. You have to do big enough to decide if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Another thing that I do, anytime I do something, I do with 3 different vendors, 3 different agencies, because they all work different. They all have their own, recipe. And a lot of times, 2 of them suck and only 1 is good. And sometimes 2 of them are good. With my Facebook, I have 2 really good agencies doing really good. They have different advertising styles. Even though they're both on Facebook, I'm still getting appointments to this day from both of them. Both of them.
Yeah.
Are they competing against each other? Okay, yes they are. But I can compete with my competition, but I cannot compete with myself.
Right.
I benefit on both sides.
Right.
You know, the Rothschilds, they'll finance both wars.
Right.
They're still making money from both of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
They can't lose. So I'm like, so people say that, but you're competing against. So I'm like, so the competitor can compete against me, and I compete, but I cannot compete against myself. If I beat myself, don't I win? You know, another thing that I say is, whoever spends the most money gets the customer. I always said that. Dan Kennedy says that.
Yeah.
And that's Ryan
Dice.
He said that. He's like, whoever spends the most money wins the customer. And I felt so validated to hear from somebody who's alive.
Yeah.
You know, you have to spend the money. You have a marketing budget. Don't spend like an idiot. Be a guardian of it. Be a good guardian of it. Protect it. But the goal is to spend it all.
Yeah.
Spend it all. Sometimes when you can't spend it, then you stop, because sometimes you hit a plateau. You know? So, like with you, I mean, you're a big part. We haven't started. I don't think we haven't gone live with retention, but I already have a bunch of ideas in my head. Okay.
You're gonna do well. with the type of ingenuity that you have, like, you don't really fit into our perfect customer profile, but you're gonna make it work. That's for sure.
Volume is your friend, man. Volume is your friend.
Yeah.
Volume is your friend.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I always feel like you go and do volume. I tell my guys, and probably you guys are doing the same thing. I'm buying SaaS technology. You know, my technology stack. And it's very hard to buy technology right now, man. You guys don't want to sell it because of churn. I get it. It's so hard to buy it, man. Like, I almost have to beg your guy to buy, because your customer right now, your ideal customer is Spotify stores. I'm not in a Spotify.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's like there's enterprise value reasons for it. You know, it's
I get it. You know, like, also for my bookkeeping, you know, he's going for Spotify stores too, but he's really good. His name is Benny. I'm like, I'm big. I mean, you know, why you guys say no to me? You know, we're the same mastermind. He's like, okay, let me look into it. You know, we just have. I'm like, I get it, but you know, I still want good value. You know, it's very hard for roofers to get bookkeepers for some reason. It's very hard. Okay, I've been rejected 3 times last year. I still have my CPA do my bookkeeping, but I want a good professional bookkeeper that gives me a daily fucking report and shows me where my fucking money went today or yesterday.
Yeah. So, dude,
you know,
there's this new company in the Shopify ecosystem.
Okay,
it's called Final Loop. It's an AI mix of QuickBooks and a bookkeeper that it does it all. It creates a real-time P&L. That's their pitch. It's just you feed in your transactions. It's Final with only one L. Final Loop.
The background is brown.
Yeah, that's the one. Check it out. See if you know. Just have somebody look into it. But I've been talking to these guys a little bit because somebody's helping me out, helps them out. There's some Israeli guys. Apparently, this is like a really badass. You know.
Have you worked with Funnel.com, Funnel.io?
No.
Okay. How about the other one is Gong, G-O-N-G?
Gong, we use Gong, yeah. We like. I think you got to have a guy who like knows Gong really well and can sort of teach it to everybody, and you got to have a sales. You know.
I can hire somebody that can come, but I'm trying to buy Gong, and the guy's like not trying to sell to me. I'm like, okay, my guys are outside, but I still have like 20 people who answer the phone. There's email. I need the data.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, what kind of sales guy are you? I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's some bad things on Gong
Right.
that will show it to me. Then I can make some decisions.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
Funnel.io, they give you data on all your digital marketing.
it's interesting. You know, it's like there's got to be a business in just like creating lookalikes of these companies that only want to sell. Like, as the vendor now who's trying to sell for $1 billion, like I totally understand why we only want to sell to one type of person.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, we know they will stick around forever, and like that's how you get 20 times your revenue or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, I hear you, man. It's like I would be frustrated too. It's like you want to be fucking sophisticated, like.
But in the last 6 months, it has gotten real hard to buy technology. Like SaaS companies, it's gotten really, really hard. They don't let you open an account. You have to make a demo.
Yeah.
And then the demo, they're really like trying to see if you are gonna be the right customer.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. I mean, because there's a lot of people that just want to try things and then they just cancel right away or whatever.
Yeah.
I get it. Everybody now is charging the whole year, and that's great because you get a whole year's revenue the first month, the first week. So, but everybody's moving the same way. It seems like once somebody copies somebody, the other one follows.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's like the valuations of these companies, a lot of them raised a lot of money. They were burning a lot of money to grow, and the valuations have compressed so much in the public markets. People are trying to do whatever they can to salvage whatever they can from their valuation. And dude, churn is the biggest thing. It is such a driver of value.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is.
So you're trying to go sell. I got offered $40 million last year, and I said no.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. There's a lot of money from the Wall Street that they're running out of things to buy. They're learning that physical things actually make sense.
Totally.
They last a long time.
Yeah.
But so you're thinking of exit. I think you're probably the most famous company doing this because I did not know about this until the guy with the watches told me about it.
Right.
And I said, wait, what?
Well, we've only been around for 3 years.
Well, the guy told me, and it works. Yeah, it works. I'm like, can I get their phone number? Can I get their email? Like, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me. But you say that you want to exit. So let's say you exit. What the hell are you gonna do?
No, I actually want to do a big secondary round in a year.
Okay, so
my goal is to sell 10% for like $100 million and then try to go huge. Like I'm already playing about as big as I can play, but if I took $100 million off, I would play even fucking bigger. I would go raise a bunch of debt. I go buy everybody. I go try to crush this thing.
Do you play the whole world or just the U.S.?
Just U.S. because it's for legal reasons. Otherwise, I'd love to. It's not allowed in Europe. It's not allowed in Canada.
Find a way anywhere else, Mexico or any other markets.
So I don't know about Mexico. I mean, we're fueled off of publisher networks that are U.S. centric. I don't know if they exist in other countries or not. I just haven't looked. There's such a big opportunity here in the next 2 years. Like, I should be sniffing around though, for sure.
Okay. Okay. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how, and also now that I'm hanging out with a lot of different people, I'm learning of how there's so many business owners that don't know shit. They don't know marketing. They don't know advertising. They don't know internet. I'm like, how the hell are they getting by? It's like, they pay a young kid, and the young kid doesn't care.
Right.
But he does enough.
Right.
That
it works, breaks even or whatever. Yeah.
But they're not out there, trying new things and trying to do this and trying to do that. I'm always doing a lot of things. One thing that I did this week, I started doing branding. I hired Wizard of Ads, big company, expensive company. They're gonna start branding my company. So the goal is to hit 1 million people 3 times a week, 52 weeks for $1 per soul, they call it.
Yeah.
So that's branding. And I also finally got my agency of record for digital marketing. This company is going to take care of all my digital online presence. They're going to do everything.
Sweet.
But this guy is actually like in it. Like this is a guy. He's in it. He's local. He gets excited.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. So I feel really, really good. I feel I'm in good hands.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going out there trying to find the people. Have you heard of Kasim?
Kasim's the man. You should go.
Guy,
you should go on his podcast.
I'm his mastermind.
Yeah. But he's got a podcast. They have a fun podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's number one media buyer for Google, and he's doing my Google now.
Yeah, he's a smart motherfucker.
That guy's amazing. Yeah. We're just testing right now. But once the snow melts, like I'm doing so many things. I mean, 50 million is going to be a no-brainer.
Yeah, no-brainer.
What I'm going to do once I hit 50 million, I'm going to put systems in place with Ryan Reese. He's going to come over here for $100,000, 3 days. We're going to fix it, put everything in place. And then I'm going to put in a box, and then I'm going to go to another state and do the same thing.
Boom.
And then I'm going to go to another state and do the same thing.
Billion in revenue, baby. There's 50 states.
Well, I'm probably
know what I mean?
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah. That's awesome. I
and
love that.
Just put operators. If I have 5 companies doing 30 million, let's just say 30 million average, that's 150. I'm netting 20%. I'm grossing 40%. I'm netting 20%.
Yeah.
That's a shitload of fucking money.
That's a shitload of money, dude.
That's fucking
you're
money.
You're gonna be making a lot of TikTok videos with a lot more shit than earlier, right?
If I get to that level, I'll buy if I can 1 million acres in Wyoming and build myself a house and just lose myself there.
Yeah. Get bored, right?
Get bored. Yeah. Probably last a week.
Right.
So I mean, I'm doing a lot of things. And Mike Wise thinks that there's something out there. He wants to put a course. He wants to put this, to teach people. And it's very simple. People just try things all the time. All the time. You have to know your
always be learning.
Always be learning. Always be working. Always be hustling.
Yep.
Follow your gut. I'm the wrong person when they say family time or work balance. I mean, I love what I do. What I do is I wake up and I'm working, and I stop working to go to bed, to go to sleep. Simple as that. If you don't love what you're doing, don't fucking do it.
Right.
Go do something else. Life's too short to be doing something you don't love. I mean, that makes no fucking sense.
I agree.
It makes no sense. I'm lucky. I feel lucky that I wake up and I do what I like, which is this. And it's not just roofing. It could be anything. Anything where I make the phone ring, creating sales teams.
Totally.
Doing a lot of things. And I'm excited with the new technology. I'm excited for ChatGPT. I mean,
dude, it's wild. It's fucking wild. Yeah, we're doing some stuff with it.
I think the company that sets software where tells you how to talk to it, that creates prompts, the company that figures out how to create prompts for anything you need so you can ask ChatGPT, I think that company will become huge.
Yeah, $300 billion or something, right?
Huge. I tell it, I need to write a sales letter on how to offer my roofing services in the Minneapolis area. And then it gives me 10 prompts of what to put on ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT, you have to know how to talk to it.
Yeah, you got to know how to ask it in the right way.
But if you do not know what the hell, you kind of know what you want, but you just don't know how to, AIDA, 6 Ws. Nobody knows what 6 Ws is.
Yeah.
AIDA, nobody knows that. They have simple language that they're trying to get something, but they can't because they're not using the right words.
Yeah.
I mean, if I find a company that can give me prompts, I mean, I'm going to pay for that.
Right.
Because it'll help me a lot. So, what do you think of ChatGPT? What do you think? Are you doing anything with it?
We're using it we're creating a media property to enable some other data products we have, and we're basically using ChatGPT to write the content. This editor that was my buddy who started this big media property called Thrillist 20 years ago in New York. He's doing content for it, and he's like, dude, subject line matters. The first couple paragraphs people might read. The rest of it's just let ChatGPT write it. It'll save you a lot of money. Just let me put it together. So that's what we're using it for. But these Jasper guys, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's fucking nuts. Watching, they got 50,000 people in 12 months. They got 50,000 people paying them $99 a month.
I've been paying them. I don't know how much I pay them, but I got the bigger one that they have.
Yeah, like $1,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah, I've been paying them since I want to say October.
Yeah.
And I use it a lot. I mean, they're good. I mean, it's better than my brain.
Totally.
better than me trying. It saves me a lot of time.
It's incredible.
There's a lot of technology. Well, I'm excited. It's getting a little bit late. I have to go home and.
Yeah, man. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, so much came out of this. I make some shorts out of these. Like I make little LinkedIn videos where I like hold up lessons learned. I got several from you. You're going to love this. It's like, I have like 5 lessons from jail. Like the lessons from jail. How to go viral on TikTok.
I mean, if you don't, if you, I think everybody should get locked up for a couple months.
Yeah.
It's making mandatory. You learn so much. You learn.
The lessons from jail I got from you is join a clique immediately. There's the big guy's always the leader, so you're there for safety, and then you have a job that you have to do, and then you read, which is incredibly valuable because no one has time to read in their normal life. It makes you appreciate the life outside because your freedom's gone. Little things make a big impact, like you start to appreciate food and coffee way more. You learn street smarts, and because 95% of those people in there deserve to be locked up, they're dumb motherfuckers. You learn cold-blooded manipulation, for lack of a better way to describe it. And then you learn to make alliances.
Yes, and write this one down. You know for sure who is your friend. When I was locked up, only my dad and my brother visited me. They put $30 every week. I used that to buy a phone card and buy some coffee.
Yeah.
Nobody else went to visit me. Nobody else.
Incredible.
You know how many friends I have? 0. I have 0 friends. I don't want any friends.
Right.
I got my wife. I got my kids. I mean, I got my dad and my brother.
Right.
I might have friends. You know.
Yeah.
I have 0. I got 0. So when you're locked up, that's when you see who really cares about you.
Totally.
You see who cares about you.
Yeah.
You see who answers your phone calls. You see who goes to visit you. You see who puts money on your books. You know, you learn a lot. And right there, when you go to jail is all by race. If you are white, don't try to go join, you know, the blacks or the Asians or the Native Americans. No, you go with the whites.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some Hispanics that arrive and they don't speak Spanish, but you know they're Hispanic. They think they're white. They go with the whites. But you know, there's the racist whites. You know the
Yeah. The KKK.
And they tell them get out of here. So they don't know what to do. So they go with the blacks, and the blacks say get out of here. And we're all paying attention, right? At the end, they end up with us. And if we're nice, we'll let them in.
Yeah.
You know, because we could easily say, why didn't you come to us first?
Right.
And they're all paying attention. If we reject them, his ass is everybody's but his. You know, that's the last thing. So it's all by race. It's all by race. It's all by skin color.
We're tribal people, huh?
Once you're locked up, you are. You are. And but you learn so much. I mean, you learn how to value everything. You learn, what real freedom is, and you don't take a lot of things for granted. I mean, a lot of things. There's so many things that people take for granted. You know, being able to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah.
You know, waking up at the time that you want. They do roll call at 5:15 a.m. You know, your bed has to be made, and I mean, I was scared. I was gonna freeze. I was there. In January, they give you a little, a mattress is this thick on a concrete, and it's cold as fuck. Every night, I'm like, I might not wake up.
Right.
You know, I always wonder how the big guys did it, because the big guys, we all get the same amount of food.
Right.
I always wonder how the big guys get by.
Yeah, man, it's wild.
You know, so, and they have to beat somebody, have to steal from somebody. I don't know how they do it. I never kept an eye, But, I don't want to go back, obviously, but, I mean, I learned a lot. And that changed my life.
It's awesome.
That changed my life, The Richest Man in Babylon, that's a book that everybody should read.
Well, dude, I haven't read that book. I've read Think and Grow Rich a lot. I love it. Man, this is a fucking great talk. There's so much to be learned from you. You've had such an interesting journey. Well, I just keep thinking it's like listening to people who are complaining about not having a job. Like, they just need to listen to this and appreciate what you have been through. And like 3 different times in your life, you were basically rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 4 times. Yeah. Right? like back up against the wall, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you just kept fucking swinging, you know?
Just keep going. You never stop. You keep going. You keep going. The drive, the hunger, and also, the things that I have right now. If my Ferrari or my Rolls Royce breaks down, or I lose it, or goes up in flames, I will not buy it again. But it was part of the journey.
Totally.
Part of the journey.
Totally.
Now, you think that the money and the flashy things and the big house is it, but once you get up there and you look around, then you realize that that's not it.
The game is it, brother. The game.
But what is it is your wife and kids.
Yeah, true. True.
That's it. That is the thing. I mean, but it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. People criticize me this, and I'm like, when I bought the Ferrari, is because that's the thing that I could afford. That's the thing that could prove that I'm making it, right? When I bought the Rolls Royce, that said I made it. Now I don't have to do that.
Right.
I don't have to do that. Why did I buy so much Versace? Because it's me proving the world that I'm making it. Now I don't have to do that. I will not do it. I still have the clothes. I like it. But once you start making money, and the more money you make, the less people you have around you. I've been sued a couple times. Only lost once. By the closest people around you. There's a lot to it. When I came here illegally, we crossed over the mountains. They tried to rape my mom. The coyote negotiated with the guys and said, her kids are here. There's a 6-year-old girl on the next trip. I'll make sure you guys can have her. I'm gonna say that they didn't rape her because it was only a couple minutes, and my mom never said anything about it. We got caught. They threw us back. We went through a tunnel. There was little kids in the U.S. side with screwdrivers. They robbed us, and we got in a van. We went to Phoenix. The van, it was 18 of us, a lot of weight. The van got pulled over. We got caught. We got thrown back. The third time, the same tunnel, maybe an hour after we arrived in Mexico, we're walking through the tunnel. It's pitch black. It's like 45 minutes of just pitch black. And we're getting robbed, but this time it's 16-year-old kids. The first one was like 8 and 10-year-olds. This one was like 6-year-old kids. They got machine guns and everything. And there's a lady dying. I saw a lady dying. She would not let go of her gold chain, and they just broke her. And she was just laying there, kind of breathing slowly with blood around her stomach. And this little kid throws me in the ground and takes my shoes, my tennis shoes, and gives me his old tennis shoes. I was 12. This kid was probably 8.
Yeah.
And I was so fucking scared, man. I was so scared. And I ended up here with oversized, nasty-looking tennis shoes. And, life is beautiful. I love this country. Life is beautiful. And this is the only country where you can work hard every day and do the right things, and you always get rewarded. You always get rewarded.
God bless it.
You have to always learn more things. You have to learn. You have to learn always. What works today is not going to work tomorrow.
Right.
You always have to get better. Learning, networking. I did not know masterminds existed. I am thankful that I know them now. I'm grateful for the masterminds that I have. On Slack, I can ask any recommendation, anything. And these guys come together and they give me the best. Look what I have on my phone.
Love that.
So networking, and when they say your network is your net worth, I understand why they say that now.
Yeah. I agree.
I had a great time.
People are everything.
Yeah, people. I hope that me and you can hang out one of these days. Have
Dude,
a coffee, something.
This is awesome. Right, I learned so much from you. I am just so glad we got a chance to talk, and the people are going to love this who hear this.
This country's beautiful. This country's beautiful. The market's beautiful. It's beautiful. You just have to find your customer, find your people, and just go at it every day.
Yeah.
Go at it every day. And don't be the cheapest. I always tell people, I'm the most expensive in my market. I'm not the cheapest. I'm the most expensive.
Yeah.
And I provide Rolls Royce service.
Totally.
And I know how to do it.
It's I know how to do it.
Don't ever be cheap. Cheap is nasty. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.